And Democrat Brad Sherman. Welcome, sir. Good to have you here. We'll get to the impeachment part in a second here, but something pressing right now, North Korea. We now know they have, in fact, launched an ICBM, tested one. You're on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, ranking member of the Subcommittee on Asia. What are the options here?
Well, none of the options are appealing, and the only way to influence North Korea is to put pressure on China. And putting pressure on China risks the economic relationship. China prefers the current situation where they have clear access to our markets, and North Korea is strong. They'd prefer a little less strong, but they want a strong North Korea. And they have increased their trade with North Korea. They subsidize the regime. The regime cannot survive without them. But unless we're willing to say we may not accept your imports, we're not going to get China's attention, and China's not going to change their behavior.
All right, and we know this will be a big meeting today between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Will be highly scrutinized for sure in their first face-to-face, or Friday rather. How does North Korea become a bargaining chip in terms of President Trump's meeting with Putin?
Well, Putin and Xi, the Chinese president, have put forward a vague but interesting proposal that we would freeze at least the missile program of North Korea, and I think more importantly, freeze their production of fissile material. It's the nuclear weapons that bother me more than the missiles. In return for us not having these annual joint exercises with South Korea. Now that we've got computer planning and modeling, there are so many ways for us to coordinate with the South Korean military without doing these exercises. The exercises are useful, but if we could stop the production of fissile material in North Korea, that would be more useful.
Let's get to the articles of impeachment that you are, in fact, drafting with another member. Is it Congressman Lee? Or
Congressman Green and I are
Congressman Green.
Yeah.
But your colleagues are split on this. Maxine Waters says, yes, move forward. Adam Schiff says it's too soon. What's your argument for impeachment?
It's time to move the ball one step forward. We're not going to see impeachment now. But by talking about impeachment, we could have two possible outcomes. One outcome is that just the use of that word and actually submitting articles of impeachment, making it real, will cause an intervention in the White House. And they'll get the president to be careful, to control his impulses. And if we accomplish that, then we'll get competent government, not government I agree with, but competent government, and that's where we'll go. If that doesn't happen, and we continue all these shocks, all this craziness, 6 months from now, there'll be Republican co-sponsors of these articles of impeachment.
But isn't that, I mean, that's an extreme step to take, to use something like articles of impeachment as leverage to get the White House to behave in a way that you consider to be appropriate?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have articles of impeachment if there wasn't a high crime and misdemeanor. When you look at the obstruction of justice statute and you compare it to the sworn testimony of James Comey, it fits. There is obstruction of justice here. There is a legal basis. And for if you look at Section 1512b3, it fits the facts. I was there to hear Comey's testimony. He is that's sworn and credible testimony. But second, it's not that he's insulting this or that journalist or television. It's revealing classified information to the Russians without thinking about it. It's going after Qatar without bothering to know we had a military base there. Now, there might be reasons to go after Qatar, but you got to know we've got a military base there first. If the these are not minor problems that need to be worked out. And I don't kid myself. If Mike Pence became president, we'd still have policies that I disagree with. I served with him in the House for 12 years. I disagree with him on everything. But at least we'd have law-abiding and careful government. And if Trump can provide Republican, because he was elected, competent government, maybe that's not as good for my party, but it's better for my country.
And let's talk about something that hits home here locally, because we know that the Trump administration has tried to reverse some of the legislation made under the Obama administration. But in this case, they are trying to delay, or the Trump administration trying to delay safety rules stepped up by the Obama administration for underground gas storage specifically, which includes the site of the Aliso Canyon leak.
Yeah, I went to President Obama and got a commitment that we would have national storage safety regulations for natural gas. We got them last December. Now the Trump administration has announced that they're just not going to enforce them. And while they reconsider. And in a related matter, this relating not to the storage of natural gas, but oil wells that produce, that leak natural gas on the side, the court just today reversed a Trump decision or Trump administration decision to not enforce environmental regulations. If you want to repeal a regulation, you got to go through a whole process. You can't just fail to enforce it.
All right, we want to thank Congressman Brad Sherman for coming in. And we want our viewers to know we have repeatedly reached out to several Republican members in Southern California, and we're awaiting their confirmation for a live in-studio interview on the KTLA Morning News. Thank you, sir.
Congressman,
Good to
thank
be
you
with
very
you,
much.
and I hope people come to my town hall on August 20th, Reseda High School.
All right, thanks.